What are some of the other effective ways to motivate and engage your team members then, beyond just compensation and benefits?
Compensation and benefits is just like the benchmark, and that's really the most
Yeah,
lower level. Really, it's
yeah,
just motivation.
yeah.
Yeah, they you need to create a team where they want to wake up and want to go work for you and
Mm.
want to go do the work. Okay. So I have led data science teams where in the past, what their feedback to me was like, I really enjoy working for you. The work we're doing is a lot of fun, but your company doesn't implement anything. We don't implement anything like effectively. And that gets a data scientist very sad in a way that they did all this great work. They see it, they see the data, they trust what they did, but then
Mm.
there's no action on it, right? And that's usually the toughest one to manage in a large organization is how do you manage team members who desire high growth and high learning rates and your organizational culture just isn't on the same speed, right?
Mm.
So that's really key. And you, as a leader, you need to figure out what that means for your organization because that could potentially mean you hire these really terribly great data scientists for a little while, but you know there will be turnovers and you accept those turnovers. Or
Mm.
you hire people that you know won't be leaving, but then they won't push the envelope. They don't learn new things and they are more likely to do the same thing over and over again. So, what's the balance? Where's the balance? And how should you manage that? That's a very interesting dilemma, I think.
Yeah, I guess, people want success. I mean, you want success, don't you? Don't really, like, if you put this work in and then nothing happens with it, it's going to be a bit, all right, like, it's a bit
Yep.
disheartening. You
Yep.
want success. Wants to make impact or achieve something. Don't make it, whether it's like creates, improve like cost savings on projects or whatever you're like developing your models for, or whatever your project you're on. You want to be doing something, don't you? Contributing, because it's just going to be like I said, disheartening. Like it's going to be like, oh, it's a waste of my time.
So, some of the best comments I've gotten from my team members when I leave a job, this one I still remember, this from many years ago now. What he said was like, Peilin, I feel with you, I feel I am effective in contributing every day. So that made him feel
Mm.
really good. He literally wrote that. I love feeling I'm contributing every day.
Yeah,
So, as a leader, you can think about how you make people feel that they're valued and they're empowered within the
yeah,
confine, whatever that confine is, to bring the best out of themselves. And then, as a leader, it is your job.
hmm,
I believe it is your job. At least I take it as my job to nurture, to mentor those people
mm,
and to push them out when your environment is no longer right for them
yeah,
in a nice way because you see the growth they need and you are not able to offer them the changes where the changes are coming too slowly where they're not going to be as happy, so you need to help land them elsewhere because
yeah.
that will come back to you one
Mm.
day.
Yeah, again, it's going back to the first point, communication and being transparent, isn't it?
Mhm.
And obviously, you're being honest with your team. Obviously, I guess there's been people where you want it to keep, but you just know it's their best interest to go somewhere else.
Yep. It's basically, Ben, what we're saying is very simple. Treat people well, treat
Mm.
people with kindness, be empathetic, and be sincere, be transparent, and be engaging and mentor.
Mm.
That's really what we're talking about. We're talking about very human things. So it's either data, technology,
Mm.
finance, retail. It doesn't really matter. It's the same thing. But I know different organizations would have different requirements.
I mean, it's just some of the most basic things, being like caring, just giving people honest
Respectful.
feedback. It's being like just
Yeah.
actually respecting other people and yeah, keeping people there again, I'm not against their own will, but like you just know they shouldn't be there. Like they should be somewhere else, maybe doing something else.
So let's flip that, because I think you are asking me, and I have learned all these lessons. I think really the real question here is how many of the younger data professionals are thinking like this? That's probably what we need to try to figure out. Because if younger professionals all think like this, we'll be great. We'll be perfect.
Mm.
Do you know that answer?
No, what do you mean, juniors? What, graduate types?
Yeah, the graduate, like the first year or the data
I
scientist or
think
just out of school 5 years. That's it.
it's pretty hard. A lot of graduates, they just we speak to. It's just more about breaking into the industry. I think that's the biggest challenge that they find at the minute. And a lot of them are just they just want to get an opportunity. So necessarily might not be the right opportunity for them, but they just want to get into the industry. And it's I guess the whole challenge once you graduate is such a competitive environment for anyone. Because obviously you hear a lot of people, don't they? They just fall into their job, and then
Yeah.
sometimes people get lucky, and then obviously some people halfway. I've had enough of working in finance, or I don't know, actually want to work in tech, or people make that massive career change. So sometimes I think people get lucky, and I think like with data, it's so like you start with being like a data analyst or become like a junior like data engineer. Yeah, until you actually experience it, you're gonna not know whether you're gonna excel, are you?
Yeah. Yeah. And you need to experience it, but how do you experience it and how do you create? Sometimes sometimes it's not about the job, sometimes it's about the environment you're in. So
Mhm.
having that kind of mindset tend to create a very positive environment for yourself, regardless of where
Yeah.
you're in. Yeah.
Yeah. And then also industry wise, like, do you know you're going to like to work in insurance? Will you like financial services? Will you like the pharma? Or you might be preferred more
Yeah.
media, retail? It's like I said, I think a lot of it is just,
So
I think it depends how switched on, I think, in my opinion, how switched on you are as a junior. Like, because some people know they just look, I want to work in insurance. I've got passion for that. They just look like that's something they got a buzz about. But others, I think, just take a hit.
I'm going to plug the insurance industry a little bit here, okay? So the insurance industry will be going through a massive labor force retirement in the next 10 years,
Mm,
because the insurance industry is really good at keeping loyalty. So there are a lot of workers who are near retirement age, and there are a lot of workers in data and IT. So what is happening is that some of the younger generation will be looking at, oh, I can work for all these companies, including Google, Nvidia, and all that. Why would I work for an insurance company? Often that's a question in
mm,
insurance. Who needs insurance? And insurance is boring. A lot of people think that. But that's a misconception, because insurance can be very sexy, and insurance has
mm,
so much data on each individual person. Okay.
mm,
And for the juniors, for them, it's not only about a lot of data they can play in. Insurance industry want people who are younger generation, who are aggressive on what they know, newer technology. At the same time, insurance is very willing to experience innovation. And because the
mm,
insurance industry is regulated, so that means
mm.
that things cannot move very fast because the government won't allow it. So that means you get to experiment. And anything you experiment will feel like a huge improvement for the industry. If you want to make a mark for yourself, insurance industry could be it for you, because it's going to offer a great opportunity for a vast amount of data. And whatever you do, the very spiffy stuff at Tesla probably won't apply here. But if you just do some of your predictive models, you could just be the hero of the day. So I think it's a
Yeah,
great opportunity to get into insurance right now.
yeah. No, I think, like I said, yeah, obviously had a bad, not a bad name, but it's just that's that type of industry. But like, we place do a lot in this, and it's it's so advanced now, and there's so much happening. Obviously, you've already got the data in front of you, haven't you? You've got
Yeah.
so you know what changes can be done. Like,
Yeah.
obviously, you had the like claims. How long did that
Yeah.
used to take? Now
Yes.
you get a claim done in
You can.
yeah,
Yeah.
in front of
Yeah.
you've got that, and then but it's all about how you storytelling. You've got to. Like, why should I join you? That's what I think. Obviously, you can post a job advert, but you need to. That's not going to define why someone should join you. You need to have a story, in my
Right.
opinion.
So think about insurance. Think about the climate change that we're going through. How weather
Mm,
has become more erratic, right? Huge
yes,
opportunity in insurance.
exactly.
Figure out how we can predict the weather pattern for whatever insurance offers. That's the product that this company is offering for this group of people, and how you should do the underwriting and predict what the claim situation would be. That's huge.
Yeah.
And that could be very innovative because there are new kind of technology for different kind of
Mm,
predictions and different kind of model you can go after to get new data, imaging data like computer vision. And then you can assess different damages and you can then turn out the claim. There's so much you can do in insurance.
mm. Yeah, again, you have to, it's all communication. Like you need to, because like most, in my opinion, most job adverts are just a list of skills and a description, but it's not.
Yeah.
You need obviously that's why. So recruiters obviously do. I'm going to pick this up. But obviously we do help because then they we when we have to like we get a job, we'll discuss the opportunity with the hiring manager, and there's so many other insurers competing with you for the same talent. Because ideally, I'd prefer most want insurance domain expertise because it's just going to help. So how are you going to stand out is like you need to have that like key selling points, and it could be like you say, it could be like, oh, we're making impacts on like climate change. It could be anything. Like we've placed people before. I mean, I think this lady she had 3 offers, and she chose this insurance company because she knew that they had a training budget, a training plan, and that's going to aid her career. I didn't know that. I couldn't share that knowledge with her, and she may have gone elsewhere. So it's all about you got to, might say bad, like you got to get like in bed with your client, not literally, but you got to know them inside out because then you can share the knowledge. Because businesses can't communicate all of this, can they?
Correct. And the business don't think about communicating all
Uh,
these things because business are thinking about, oh, I got a job and I'm going to pay this much, so people should come work for me, right? That's what
yeah.
most of business think about. Oh, I got roles open, but you don't. But people don't always realize that we are always selling ourselves, including when you have a job posting on
Mm,
LinkedIn, right? So you need to tell that story. In short,
mm,
okay, let's talk about me for a little bit. Do you know what I? My first award just came from the fact that I moved on site on-prem data over to the cloud and using the cloud to set up BI, data science, and different kind of infrastructure to democratize data. Okay, that sounds like it's not, from my perspective, that could have been done many years ago. But in insurance, that's really hard to accomplish
mm,
because you have so much data, so many different areas. You need to convince the organization. So then, once you are in the industry, you understand that what you do that can be easier done in a different industry would lead you to an award or two. And then next
mm,
thing, if you're actually pretty smart, you think about next best action, you think about how to leverage your PII information and how do you
mm.
do it in such a way that can generate returns for the organization, then your career is set up.
I know. I mean, there's so many things. Like even if you've got a diverse team, even that's a massive selling point to some people. If you've got 50-50 male, 50% female, that's a massive impact for some. Like everyone, that's why you need to know everything because there's so many different things. Also, you're going to have people that are just chasing money or they want to know whether there's career progression, like that. Then there's others that want to know if they make like, do they have a charity or do they make impact that way? Do they do the social element? There's so many different things you need to know,
Yep.
and then you need to understand it. Obviously, yeah. So there's a lot to it, like in terms of getting the right individual, and then the more the boxes you tick, the better you're going to get within that team, and the more likely they're going to stay with you and progress within the business.
And think about the social impacts that insurance companies deliver.
Mm,
Insurance companies protect families, individuals, their properties. So, should something bad happens to the individual family or the property, the insurance company is there to protect them,
mm,
right? So, if you think about that's a social cost that I think anyone can stand behind. And then if you use data to help contribute to that cost to protect people, that you are literally contributing back to the world to help
mm.
other people to have better lives. So it's a pretty cool industry and it's
Yeah.
ripe for transformation
But I
and
bet
retirement.
a lot of people won't understand that though. Like thinking of just an insurance job, you, you wouldn't think that, would
Well,
you?
but you can think of it because that's
Yeah,
the reputation, right? That's just
yeah,
stereotype. Asians are good
yeah,
at math. It's a stereotype. It's about getting in, knowing the right people, work for the right leaders.
yeah,
And if your leader is not the right leader right now, it's okay. You can still learn, and then you become that right leader for the organization
mm,
because it's ripe for disruption. And there are many insurtechs. And the insurtech, that's another interesting thing. You can also work for insurtech, right? Because
mm,
insurtech nowadays are they would build these fabulous solutions. And the fabulous solution is just a couple steps ahead of current.
mm,
They build these fabulous solutions for a few years and they sell it to the existing insurance carriers for a lump sum, a big sum. And then the existing carriers become better and the insurtech founders then move on to build something else. And that's pretty
mm.
exciting too.